Hello beautiful people of the internet, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and I'm so excited that you've joined me today. Today, we're going to be discussing all of the books that I finished in the month of August. Now, August was a crazy, insane month for me because obviously I started school, and if you know anything about the back to school season, if you are a teacher or know a teacher, it is very hectic. And let me just tell you, the most exhausting time of the year, for me at least, is the very beginning of the year. I teach littles and they're transitioning and trying to figure out this new grade, and it's kind of hard for them and it's very hard on me. Overall though, I feel like I had a pretty good reading month. I ended up reading 9 books in the month of August, so I think that's pretty good. Thank the good Lord above for audiobooks, because that's the only way I was able to score that many books this month. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good reading month. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Also, if you see my little rainbow up there and it looks like I'm wearing a crown, that's what that is. So the first book I ended up picking up in August was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. And this was one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year. I love Ali Hazelwood. She wrote one of my favorite romances of all time, which was The Love Hypothesis. I loved that one. I ate it up completely. I was disappointed. I gave this 2 stars. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. And look, you know what makes this even worse? Is that it's signed. Yeah. I have a signed copy of a book that I really did not like. So let me tell you what it's about. So basically, it's about our main characters whose names have left me. I think it's Jack and Elsie. So Elsie, if you don't know, Ali Hazelwood writes her women in STEM. And so obviously there's a lot of scientific talk in here. And Elsie is a scientist as well as Jack. No. Maybe, I believe she was a theorist or something involving science. Okay, they're in the science field. And basically he's the big head honcho over this program that she really wants into. This synopsis is one of the most convoluted synopsis that I've ever read, because she is fake dating his brother. And that's kind of how they build a spark. And it turns out that he was the head honcho of the program that she wanted to get into. It's just too much. Too much. The main thing that I absolutely hated about this book was the fact that there was so much deep scientific jargon and so much scientific talk that half the time I was confused. And I was like, I thought that this was supposed to be a really cute rom-com. And here I am learning about the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, I have no earthly idea what you're talking about. I know that Ali Hazelwood is a scientist or something like that, and so she puts that in her books, which I applaud her. Absolutely. I love that about her. But for me personally, this one was just too much, and it took me completely out of the story. I wasn't rooting for the characters. I didn't like either one of them. Just really disappointed. And then after that bombshell, I picked up The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. Basically, this one is a Carrie retelling. It's following our main character, Maddie, who is heavily bullied at her school due to her skin color. And the things that these girls do to Maddie throughout this book is horrifying, disgusting. It will make you angry. Okay, so if you are not someone who likes to get angry, don't pick this up, because yeah, it'll make you angry. I don't think I need to go into any more detail than that. Obviously, you can tell by the cover that some things go down, okay, and as they should. I loved this. I absolutely adored it. I gave it 5 stars. I could not wait until the very end to see what was going on and what was happening. And even until the very end, I was rooting for Maddie the entire time. I loved it. 5 stars. And then I picked up a very controversial one, and that is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Now, when I went into this one, I knew that there were so many differing opinions on this one. I heard that it was too spicy. I heard it was too long. I heard that it was just too much. I heard that it was amazing. I heard it all. And I went into this one extremely skeptical. But let me tell you, I feel like 80% of people have something negative to say about this book. And I feel like 20% are just rooting for this book. And I'm part of that 20%. I freaking loved this. So this one is following our main characters, Anastasia and Nate. Anastasia is part of the figure skating team, while Nate is part of the hockey team. Obviously. So, long story short, some things go down and the ice skating rink ends up being damaged, and the whole hockey team is being accused of being the ones that damaged it. And so thus it brings these two together. He is actually the captain of the hockey team, so everybody is like going to him for answers, and she is also the captain as well. And so everybody is like looking at them trying to figure out what the heck to do. And so that's where they kind of come together and build this little spark. Let me tell you this is one of those books that you really cannot take too seriously, because if you take this seriously and you take every little thing to heart, it's not going to work out for you. I'm just going to let you know that. I had to overlook some things that I was just like, why is that in there? I did end up giving it 4.5 stars just because I felt like there was a little too much like cussing for my taste, and again, I really don't like a ton of cussing in my rom-coms. I don't like a ton of cussing, period, but when you're in the middle of a rom-com, like, why are we throwing that in there? Again, if you're scared to go into this one, just don't take it too seriously. Just have a fun ride. This next one I read audibly, and that is book number 6 of the Campers and Criminal series, Canyons, Caravans, and Cadavers. Now, I listened to this while I was doing a lot of things. I listened to this while I was working in my classroom. I listened to this while I was driving. I was doing so many different things while I listened to this. So this is probably my fault, okay? This is probably not the book's fault, because I am a huge fan of this series. I love this series with all my heart and soul, and especially this narrator. If you've not listened to these, I highly recommend you do that. This one didn't stand out to me, and I've said this before, but I feel like when you have lots of books in a series, it's kind of hard for every single book to stand out. This one didn't really stand out to me. This whole series in general is following this woman named Mae West, and basically she owns this RV park by force because her husband was arrested for fraud. And so she was left with nothing except for the keys and the ownership of this RV park. So it's basically just watching her try and solve all of these crimes that take place in this RV park. It's so homey, it's small town, it's such a sweet little mystery series. If you've not checked it out, I highly recommend you do that. This next book is another cozy mystery, and that is Apple Pie a la Murder by Kate Bell. This is one of those cozy mysteries or books in general that you pick up and that you're never going to think about again, but you had a really good time reading it. This was so stinking cute. So this one is following our main character, Allie, and Allie loves to bake pies. And she's talking with her friend one day, and her friend's like, you should totally sell these pies. And she thinks of an idea that she's going to go to the local shop owner and ask him if he will sell her pies in his shop. So she does that, and he's kind of mean and nasty and kind of just shoos her off. But she leaves the pie, and then a couple days later she comes back to get the pie plate, and she finds the shop owner dead. I thought it was so cute. Again, if you just want like a really quick, simple, fun time that you're going to enjoy during the moment, absolutely check this out. This next book I also listened to audibly, and that is Seventh Heaven by James Patterson. This is book number 7 in his Women's Murder Club series. And you guys know, if you've watched my recent videos, that I love this series. So in general, this series is following 4 or 5 women who are all connected in some way by their jobs, and they all become friends because they're all in crime. They don't do crime, they work in crime. The main character, her name is Lindsay Boxer, and she is a cop, and her perspective is the main one that we're following, as well as these different subplots of the different women in the club. So this one in particular stood out to me. I loved this one. I ended up giving it 5 stars just because this one shocked me in so many different aspects, and I was eating it up. In this one, there are a lot of different fires that keep happening, and what happens is that the person setting the fires are going in and they're tying up the victims and leaving them to basically burn with their house. And Lindsay is just really stumped because they only leave back one clue, and that's a book. And in that book, they have this phrase written in Latin, and they have no idea what it means, what's going on. I just loved this one. I ate this one up. Okay, let's talk about it. Restore Me by Tara Maffei. This is book number 4 in the Shatter Me series. You guys already know I would die for this series. No questions asked. So this one is, I can't tell you. I can't tell you anything about this one because if I did, it would give away the first 3 books, and you should totally read the first 3 books, especially book number 3. That's my favorite one. This one, I will say, it started out really political. Okay, and I don't think that's a spoiler because I'm not really telling you anything. It was very political. It wasn't near as high stakes as the other 3. But I should have trusted Tara Maffei, okay? I should have trusted her from the very beginning because about halfway through this book, I wanted to throw it across the room. Because we get this huge plot twist right in the middle of this book. And then, at the very end of this frickin' book, y'all, she leaves you on the biggest cliffhanger that we've had thus far. I was screaming on the inside, outside, all the things. I could not believe what I had just read. This one ended up being a 4.5 stars. I truly thought it was going to be my least favorite in the series, but it turned out to be so good. Again, if you ever get a recommendation from me, let it be this series. The next book I picked up in August was Dead Voices by Catherine Arden. This is book number 2 in the Small Spaces series. This is a spooky middle grade series, and I will say that middle grade is not generally the genre that I reach for, but I will reach for this series every time. So in the first book, that follows 3 kids as they go on a field trip together with their class, and they're basically trapped by rabid scarecrows. This one is following those same 3 kids as they travel with their family up to a ski lodge. And when they get to the ski lodge, a lot of scary things start happening. And let me just tell you, I don't know if I'm a wimp or what, but this freaked me out. I remember Small Spaces scaring me, but this one freaked me out. The descriptions alone were terrifying. And I'm a grown adult. I ate it up. I loved it. And the last book that I finished in August, I actually finished on the last day of August, was The Eighth Confession by James Patterson. This is book number 8 in the Women's Murder Club series. So yes, I read 2 books in that series this month. So this one I ended up giving 4 stars, and let me explain why. In this one, basically someone is attacking all of the rich people in San Francisco that they can get their hands on. And how they're doing that is they are killing them in the most quiet, unsuspected way that the police have ever seen. And I really don't want to tell you how they're killing them because I think that's part of the excitement, is figuring out how these people are dying. I was driving to school one morning, 7 o'clock, y'all, sobbing my eyes out. Sobbing, because James Patterson has gone there before. If you've read the series, then you know that he's not afraid to cross that line. I was convinced that he was about to just drop the biggest bombshell. Okay, I'm not going to tell you if he actually did or not, but just know that that scene was the reason that I bumped it up. That's all I'm gonna say. And there you have it, my friends. Those are all of the books that I got to in the month of August. Again, it was a very hectic month and it was a very exhausting month, but we finally made it through, and now I cannot wait to welcome September and the fall months and everything spooky and pumpkin. Oh man, I'm ready. If you made it this far into the video, please don't forget to leave this video a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.